In this video, we're looking at where you can get a 300 watt studio strobe for less than 110 bucks. What's going on, you guys? I'm Daniel Troutman with the SmashCake.com, your online resource for all things Smash Cake. Whether you need photography tips, business advice, or even a prop shop or a place to buy camera gear, it all exists at the SmashCake.com. Now, in today's video, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys where you can find a 300 watt great studio light for less than $110. And guess what? I bought it, I brought it into the studio, I played with it, and today we are going to have a look at the light so that you can see what's in the box and answer the question, is it worth the price? So let's pop over to our break room. We'll go ahead and open up the box and we'll have a look at what's inside. Now, the first thing I noticed when I pulled this thing out of the box for the first time was how well this felt in my hand. This is a solid light. This light does not feel like a light that is $109. This feels like almost like a Paul Buff Alien B, if anybody's familiar with those. Those ran about $350 to $400 a piece, and that's exactly what this light feels like. It feels like a mid-range light. It's very solid. All of the buttons are very, again, solid. They when you flick the power switch, it clicks. The dial, it's very sturdy. There's nothing chintzy on this light. Let's go ahead and talk about the digital dial real quick. Now, this is something that it doesn't seem like you would really want to pay a whole lot of attention to it, but as you progress in your photography, you want to be able to dial your lighting in to within 1/10 of a stop to really have some accurate pinpoint lighting. And I notice when I'm off a few tenths of a stop, I can tell, and I don't like it. And that's why it was really hard for me when I was shooting with Alien Bs, because they had the stupid horizontal slider, and you couldn't exactly click the slider up 1/10 of a stop. You just couldn't do it. You had to guess, and you had to meter, and then you had to do it again, and it took you forever and drove me absolutely nuts. So I'm really happy to see this digital dial on the MS300. Now, the rest of the features of this light are pretty standard, really. You have your ability to put your light in a group or change the channel. You can turn the beep on and off. You can test fire your flash. That's all standard. It's all there, and all of those buttons feel amazing, and not like you're going to push them and they're going to fall apart or off. Now, the cool part about these lights is something that's built in. You can't even see it on the outside, but it's a built-in radio receiver. And if you've been in photography any longer than maybe a decade, you'll remember the old dark ages where you had to buy a Pocket Wizard transmitter for your camera and a Pocket Wizard receiver for your light, patch them all in with weird cords, and then hope to God that every time you move your light, the Pocket Wizard didn't fall off and shatter on the ground, costing you more money. Well, Godox solved that problem, and apparently they're putting internal receivers on all of their lights, including the budget $109 lights. Now, this is a feature that is normally reserved for much more expensive lights. Now, probably the biggest selling feature of this light is the 300 watts of power for $109. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because if you're shooting more than one person and you're maybe building a set like we do for Smash Cake photography, and you want to light the whole area, you're going to have a hard time doing that with a speed light in a softbox. Okay, that speed light, it's going to be like trying to light an entire car with a flashlight. Just not going to work. Now, the Godox MS300 has 6 times the power of a speed light, so it's got plenty of power to be put inside of a 5 or 7 foot octabox and fill the whole darn thing. And the best part, of course, you don't have to jack that ISO up to the moon, and you can make large prints making more money. So if you want to maybe get away from shooting a speed light in a softbox, if that sounds familiar and you want to get away from that, now is your chance to do it for roughly the same price of a speed light. Now, we pretty much determined that I think this is a great value. Let's take a minute. Let's poke a couple holes in this. Let's see what this light doesn't have, because honestly, it is a budget light and it is missing a few things. So let's talk about that real quick. The first thing it's missing is TTL. Now, if you don't know what TTL is, it means through the lens metering, and it's pretty much where you put a transmitter on top of your camera, you stick your camera into aperture priority mode, and then your camera will decide how bright or how dark to make your flash. It makes all of those decisions for you, and presumably it gets the exposure right every time. I can tell you from experience, it doesn't always get it right. And because I shoot most of my smash cake images in the studio and we're, working on a set where the lighting conditions never change, I don't need that function. So for me, not having TTL is absolutely not a deal breaker. Now, the other thing that it does not have is high-speed sync. Now, I don't want to get into high-speed sync because it's absolutely dreadfully boring, but the gist of it is that your camera has a shutter. Let's do this whole shutter thing. Camera has a shutter. The first curtain opens, it exposes your sensor, the flash goes off, the second curtain closes, and then it resets. Cool? All right. Now, if you don't have high-speed sync and you maybe set your shutter speed above, let's say 1/200th of a second, what's going to happen is that this is going to open and this is going to move too fast for all of the light from your flash to get to the sensor in time. So this is going to get caught halfway, blasted with light, and the light that hits the sensor or hits this shutter is not hitting your sensor and causing you to have a black bar across your image. I hope that makes sense. It's about as simple as I can explain it. So high-speed sync is really, really important for people who are shooting with larger lenses. And the reason for that is with, say, a 70-200, that's a lot of weight and a lot of glass on front of your camera. And every time you push that button, that weight will jitter your camera, and you need to jack up that shutter speed in order to avoid camera shake. So for me, since I shoot with a 70-200 lens, I need high-speed sync. So that's why, unfortunately, this flash is going back. I didn't realize that it didn't have it, but it makes sense because that's usually something that's reserved for a much higher end light. Now, for those of you who shoot with normal, everyday, what I call real people lenses, the 35mm, the 50mm, the 85mm, even the 100mm lenses, you're really not going to notice the lack of high-speed sync because you don't have to put your shutter speed as high as I do. So it's probably not a deal breaker for the rest of you. It's just a deal breaker for me. Now, the last thing this thing doesn't offer is something very odd. Okay, I've never seen a light not offer this, but it's a reflector dish, right? When you buy a monolight, you usually get like a little 8-inch reflector dish that clips on the front, kind of helps spread the light a little bit. Well, this one just oddly enough doesn't have one. But, again, for the $109 price, I don't really care. I'll go buy one for 15 bucks and it'll bring the price up to still less than $130 for a 300-watt flash. So no big deal on the reflector dish, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, if you haven't guessed already, I absolutely think this light is 100% worth it, and it's great for new photographers. And, I was even looking at it, and I've been doing this for almost 20 years. It's a solid built light. It's perfect for all of you beginners, and it's really perfect for anybody who's on the fence as to whether or not they will enjoy flash photography. This is your chance to experiment with flash photography without, shelling out a huge amount of money. All right, well, if you are one of those people that is unsure whether or not you actually want to experiment with flash photography and you're unsure as to what type of light you should buy, guess what? I made a video and it is all about how to choose the right light for you. So go ahead and click the title card that's going to appear and you'll be transported over to our video on picking the right light for you. All right, everybody. Well, that's my review on the Godox MS300. It is 2 thumbs up. I love this light. It's a tremendous value for the money, and you will not be sorry if you buy the light. Now, for those of you still on the fence, click the link in the description, and you'll be taken to Amazon because it is an affiliate link where we do make a little bit of pocket change. But really and truly, I just wanted to make you guys aware of this tremendous value because I know there's a lot of you out there that this light would actually really help. So click the link, read the specs on the site, and decide for yourself. So until next time, guys, I'm Daniel Troutman with thesmashcake.com. I want to thank you all for watching, remind you to thumbs up. And if you want to see more of our video content, well, they're going to be popping up right about here. There's a couple videos for you. And if you really want to see more, go ahead and subscribe to our channel where you will be the first to be notified every time we upload another video. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.